Formula 3 went back to racing for round 2 in Bahrain after another round of testing at the circuit a few weeks ago in the new Gen F3 car. Here's some of the key things that have taken place over this race weekend for round 2. In qualifying, it became almost a race for positions on track as cars were battling against each other in order to get space to have enough room to push in the short 30-minute qualifying session. But it was Rafael Camara in the Trident with a 149.214 who was able to take pole alongside Callum Voisin in the Roding Motorsport, joining him on the front row. In reverse grid, it was a high-tech GTR front row lockout for the sprint race with Joshua Dufek and Martinez Stenshorn. But it seemed to unravel for both of the high-tech drivers, with Dufek retiring, bringing out a late safety car on the last few laps of the race, dropping down at the start to debut driver Freddie Slater, who is racing in FRECA this season. Stenshorn was able to finish 5th, just behind Callum Voisin. But on the podium for the sprint race, it was Nicholas Soloff for Campos to take his 4th win in his F3 career as one of the returning drivers this season. But it came with a lot of pressure and on-track battles with Freddie Slater, who started 3rd and finished 2nd. He was leading most of the race until safety cars and tire degradation came into play. Rounding out the podium was rookie driver of Tuukka Tappinen. All the drivers explained in the press conference that the heat and tire deg was more abnormal than previous runnings due to high temperature. Looking into the feature, it was slightly cooler than the sprint race, nearly 10 degrees cooler for the track temperature. Starting on pole, Rafa Camara, who stalled actually in the sprint race the previous day, started with Callum Voisin, who finished 4th in the sprint race, joining him on the front row. It was a better start for Camara this time around, but there was a stall at the back of the grid of Louis Sharp. Voisin, with a great start as well, was able to take the lead at the first turn. A virtual safety car was deployed shortly after a few laps. And unfortunately, after a great sprint race, Freddie Slater seemed to have damage at the start of the race and was out for the feature. But I don't think this will be the last time we see him in Formula 3. But he is racing in FRECA this season, so make sure you look out for his races. Throughout the grid, it seemed to be a 2-car group racing for the first half of the 22 laps of the feature race. But Camara created a lead out of DRS by Voisin on lap 13 by over 3 seconds. Tim Tramnitz as well, starting from outside the points, qualified P13 to get points in the sprint race yesterday, and with the power of DRS was able to take 4th at that time. With 5 laps to go, we got notifications that drivers have reached track limits and will have penalties, so we'll be looking out for that the rest of the day as well when they come through. But crossing the line, it was Rafa Camara taking first with over 6 seconds with another perfect day of a Grand Slam pole, fastest lap and a win. Back to back as well, as he did the same thing in the feature race in round 1 in Melbourne. He is also the first F3 driver from pole to be on the podium in Bahrain, let alone to take the win. And in second place, as mentioned, Callum Voisin and Tim Tramnitz up to P3 towards the end. Notably as well, Murray Boyer on his birthday started P20 and actually finished in the points with a P8 finish. Formula 3 will be taking a break before resuming for round 3 in Imola on the 16th to 18th of May, but the standings is as follows. Rookie driver with a superb first 2 rounds, Rafael Camara in Trident with 56 points with a good lead ahead of Tim Tramnitz in P2 with 30 points. And Noah Stromstead, who also scored points in the feature race, he is tied with Callum Voisin for 3rd with 27 points. In the constructors, Trident, with having almost all 3 drivers in the points for the feature race, they are in first with 92 points, a decent gap already within the first 2 rounds, to second place of MP Motorsport with 42 points and Campos with 40 points. Make sure you're following Formula Reports wherever you get your news for more Formula 3 updates this season.